There's two things that we used to do that didn't just save those cancels, but the ones that did leave, it brought them back within 3 months, and it almost cost you nothing.
The one powerful question you can ask to save cancels, or at least get feedback, is...
Welcome back to another episode of the Geronimo Unfiltered podcast. I'm Dozy, your host.
And I'm Sophie.
Good to have you. What?
Soph.
Yeah. Good to have you here, Safe.
Well, great to be here. Excited for our topic today. Before we get into it, why don't we just start off with what's exciting at the moment in your world? What are you working on?
I've got my 1985 Bronco. I got it. It's in the garage. It's mechanically, we've just spent fucking 20 grand on it to get the thing like actually, roadworthy and all that kind of stuff. It was my childhood dream. That's why I used to go for the Broncos, because it's my very first favourite car. So it just needs a bit of a respray. I love it. Do you love it?
Yeah, it's cool.
It just needs a bit of a respray, but I'm going to put that on the other side of reaching some business milestones.
Cool.
What about you?
What about me?
Oh, come on. High rocks. You just ran 100 Ks or something.
100? Okay, what's going on in my world? Yes, I am about like 3 weeks out from High Rocks. My High Rocks debut in Melbourne. If anyone has tips, send them my way.
Pete does.
Yeah, I've been asking Pete. Don't worry about that.
Yeah.
Lots of running and watched the Blues get absolutely smashed on Wednesday. So that was horrific. But today we're going to be talking about churn.
Well, the reason is because we're coming into, depending on when this episode airs, we're going to be right in the middle of winter or right in the middle of summer. Typically for studios, that's kind of like one of the top 2 worst times of the year. Because people want to stay on their block. Like, you are fighting against motivation at this point. It's easily one of the highest periods for cancellations, but it doesn't have to be, does it?
No, not at all. Like, it actually surprises me now when I speak to someone like, yeah, it's the worst time of the year. We're just going to kind of like, got to get through this. It's like, no, you bloody don't. What are you doing?
Nah, yeah. And I guess the reason why we wanted to do this episode was because our podcast producer actually was at a studio that shall remain nameless for 4 years. 4 years. Does that go back to like COVID? It does. Like 4 years paying good money every single week. She is pregnant at the moment. Congratulations. And so she has got to shift the way she trains. So she put in a cancellation form and she had her last day the other day. And even the manager was there on shift and nothing. No thank you, no congratulations, no will we ever see you again, nothing. And I just thought that is so fucking poor.
It's also so common. Like twice I've also had that experience. Like,
you have?
Yeah, like emailing through and they're very quick to answer when they want your money, I guess. But then there's one studio in particular I didn't even receive a reply from to this day.
Oh, they just turned off the billing.
The billing just stopped and I was like, guys, what's going on? And then another studio that, they get weird on the way out and or only start to care. Actually, 3 times I think I've had it happen. They start, what's your PB? Like, we're going to do some goal setting.
I've been here for 4 years. I've got nothing from you, bro.
Yeah, exactly. So if this is you, great episode for you. Or even if you just think you could have a better process on the way out for members that have been with you for a long time, definitely tune in.
Because we've got the exact thing that we used to do. There's 2 things that we used to do that didn't just save those cancels, but the ones that did leave, it brought them back within 3 months and it almost cost you nothing. So we'll get to that in a second. I'm going to come back to this. If you think about her experience on the way out.
Yeah.
Right? Shift that to how members used to experience us on the way out. What did I used to say to you?
For you, our whole ethos was it's just as important how people leave as how they get started with us.
Write that down, team. You've got to bring that into your team. You've got to bring that into your culture. That is just important how people leave us as how they started, because it's the primacy and the recency effect, which is in psychology, okay? It's the first impressions and the last impressions are the most important.
It's also just like the kind of business you want to run,
yeah.
Like the integrity you want to have and the experience you want people to have around fitness and gyms, which typically can be like scary or intimidating or any of those things.
And it wasn't just, a soft ethos. We used to get members not cancel. We saw a bump in saves. We saw a bump in referrals. We saw a bump in win-backs when we adopted this and actually brought this through as a process.
Yeah.
So how would people leave on their last day if they've been there for 4 years?
Yeah, look, first thing I want to say is if you're like me, I hated cancels because it was just such a moment of like, I know that you feel like I'm working so hard. I care about these people so much, like, and why are they still leaving? One thing I want you to remember is you can be upset about a cancel if you have actually let them down. Otherwise, use it as a learning opportunity and then go and focus on the other 100 and something people who do want to be there and who you can help right now. On the way out, as soon as a cancel comes through or would come through via email, I didn't push it to the side. I didn't let someone else get back to it, leave it to my assistant to just go, yep, no worries, let me process that for you. Straight on the phone. And the one powerful question you can ask to save cancels or at least get feedback is, where do we let you down? So, Jeff, I saw your cancel come through. God, I'm really curious. Where do we let you down?
Let's dig in a bit.
So what that does is it completely disarms someone. If they're upset, like you're already you've got their guard down and now we've opened up the conversation. And if they're not upset, you'll hear, oh, no, not at all. I love you guys so much and blah, blah, blah. And the next kind of conversation would then turn into, look, Dozer's going to ask me, what happened? What happened with Jeff? Like, what actually happened there? Because I want to make sure that my team are improving all the time. Or at least if there's something that was really amazing that we did and this is just circumstantial, that we've got the truth there and we can continue to do that. So can you please be honest with me? We're not going to get upset. We love feedback, very open to it. What was your experience like? Where could we have been better? Anything that they say that's like routine or money or anything like that, immediately, you can save that.
Solvable.
If they're genuinely moving, we believe about half of those. I'm like, oh, what's the new address? Just so I can pop that in our system. And anyway, give me some feedback. And by the way, who else do you know in the area who could use, some of the training that we're doing? So a really curious conversation, ask the next obvious question, just be so open to it. And your outcome or the output of that is we've either got something really positive that we can share with the team to keep doing, or we are never going to get a cancel for the same reason again because we've now baked in a new process in response to some negative feedback, I suppose.
Versus, like, what are the mistakes that people make?
Not calling at all.
Yeah.
Sending an email back and asking.
That's so fucking
Sending
soft.
a form and then everyone always goes,
guys, don't do the form thing.
like, I know that it might seem easier, but and then everyone goes, and everyone just says the same thing. They love us. It's like, of course they do in a form. It's easy to hide behind a form. But if you have a really curious conversation and say how open you are to it, then you're going to have a more meaningful conversation.
Yeah, we used to also say, like, and don't say you love us, because that's actually, it's nice, but it's not actually that helpful, and this might not just help you because you might be on the way out because you're moving to fucking Northern Rivers, but it's going to help everyone else. So I'm curious, like, give me something that I can work with.
Yeah, I think that's a really good frame to go in with don't immediately go, I'm going to save this person. Just go in. The only thing you want to do is get curious and get some answers.
Like, we used to even say that, right? It's like, I'm not going to try and save you, right?
It's totally fine.
I'm just really curious.
Yeah.
Where do we let you down?
Yeah.
Where do we let you down? Versus, you're leaving, mate. I've heard that before. You're leaving, mate.
The good old guilt trip.
It's like, oh, okay, now I'm getting into this thing. It's like, okay, am I not your friend now anymore? Yeah.
Yeah, so it's the curiosity and then you can problem solve, obviously. And a great way to do that would also be, if it is someone who's talking about routine or something about like not hitting their goals, I want to lift heavier, I'm looking for something different. Again, where do we let you down there? Because it's important to me why you started in the first place. And you should know that to achieve X, Y, and Z. So did we have the wrong goal there or something? Can you just talk me through it? And if they are seeming open to it, it's an easy conversation to go, look, do you know what? It's a 30-day notice period anyway. Let's get you back in here. And I just want to do a quick goal setting session with you so I can understand where you're at. I don't care where you do it, but you've still got to do it. So let's make sure you've got the goal. And if you can train that 2, 3, 4, whatever it is your prescription is, sessions over the next 4 weeks, because let's just have a good run. Let's just finish it off strong.
That's what
bring
we
it
say.
home.
Let's just finish it off strong. Yep.
And then on the way out, we create a little tunnel.
Yep.
A human tunnel that they get to run through. There's a hug. There's a sweaty hug at the end of the workout. Like, we celebrate people no matter what stage they're at with us because we want them to feel very comfortable to return at any point as well.
It's almost like they graduated.
Yeah.
Right? So we didn't get weird about it. The other thing I'd say too, it'd be really weird if you start all of a sudden you care so much about them. And there's a 30-day plan. It's the first time you've actually done any fucking planning with these guys. So that's a bit of a clue on member engagement.
Don't do that.
Yeah, you really want to avoid that, team. You really want to avoid, like, all of a sudden there's this ramp up in interest on these people that are cancelling. It stinks. Like, it actually feels a bit shit too on the way, on the way out.
Super disingenuous.
I think the reason why also some studios get a bit weird over the cancels is because they don't know where the next member's coming from. So if that's you, like, lean into that. lean into that as well. If you're getting shitty and like emotionally reacting to 20 cancels that month, you know, our top studios, if they lose 20 people in a month, it's kind of like, it's okay, it's half a month's worth of sales. You know, they're doing
20 is a lot.
not if you got 350 members, the people that we work with.
That's true.
Yeah,
It
people
just
that we
sounds like
work
a
with.
lot.
Well, let's get the thing out. 20, yeah, that's 5%. That's 5%
Yeah,
at 350,
fair,
right? So when
But
$1
our
million
best studio is doing 2%.
$1 million studios, even if they lose 20 people a month, my point here is it's like they don't get emotionally reactive to it because it's about half a month's worth of sales.
Well, yeah, you used to always say, like, if you get a cancel and you go through that process that we've just spoken about and they're still leaving, it's fine. You've just got to go find the next 2 rollovers.
That's it.
Sign 2 up.
Yeah, team. So when you make the shift away from, fuck 'em, and like not even worth the response in your case, or after 4 years, it's like, peace.
Yeah.
When you shift over to, let's make sure that people fucking remember how they leave us in a good way, because that's what they're going to remember, then what's going to happen is the people that are in that 30-day period that Soph just went through, there's a portion of them that go, do you know what? I'm actually finding I've found a way to use this again. I just took the earlier bus, or instead of trying to do Thursdays, I do Saturdays now, and I still get my 4 sessions because Soph had sat down with them and worked out what their routine was. Because if the issue was around roster at the new job, we used to have a lot of nurses.
Yeah, that's
so
a big
roster
one.
at the new job. So it's like, oh shit, we'll bring your roster in, man. We'll sort it out. Let's just try and get 4 sessions in here, and even if you get to 3, that's a good week, right? Right. So then after 2 or 3 weeks of hitting 3, and then seeing them a 4th session, because they've just worked out that if they actually just come in and train before they go home rather than trying to go home and then turn around and then come back, boom, they found their 4th session. And it's like, fuck, I don't need to leave anymore. The cancel got cancelled.
Yeah, some helpful lines for that as well. It's like, oh, yeah, awesome. Like, we've helped the busiest of people find time to train.
Yeah.
We've got like 45 sessions a week. We just need to find the 3 or 4 that work for you.
Yeah.
So bring your roster in. We're going to do this together.
Yeah.
And the second one is, if they're not maybe seeing results that they want or something like that, it's just like do you know what? This isn't good enough. I want to get you the result because I really care about that. If you can get angrier than they are about the thing that they're a bit upset about, then now, again, you've disarmed them and we can actually talk about the solution.
Yeah, and then the next question is, what are the type of results that you'd like to see? Like, what is a good result for you? So let's quantify it.
Exactly. But we've got the framework around goal setting. I think the real thing there was we know what we do in here works to get you the result that you're looking for. But if it's not quite hitting the way that you'd like it to at the moment, it's usually just a few adjustments away. It's just like what we say about marketing. Like, it's just finding the right key for the lock, and then boom.
Yep.
And then you go into the coaching them on what kind of results they'd like to see and prescribing how they get there.
So that's time, that's results. What's the third one?
Money.
The dinero, the moolah.
So money is actually about value, right?
Ooh.
And we've done episodes on the rise of the intentional shopper.
Yep.
That's the wellness and health and fitness industry has actually...
It's growing.
It's growing.
It's growing.
Like really
Yep.
fast.
Yep.
So is, this rise of people spending money on the things they care about and value. So what are you doing, or what would need to be true for you to be one of those things that they protect when they're doing their budget every month? It's just like consolidating. If they've got like 4 subscription services, they go, do you know what? I'm actually only really using Netflix, so cancel the rest. If they're looking at all of the things that they're using discretionary money on, like how do we make that an essential service to them in the same way that they haven't blinked an eye? I mean, I think we all have a little bit gone like, what the fuck? But like, they haven't stopped putting petrol in their car.
Yeah.
They haven't stopped buying groceries. Maybe they've gone to Aldi, but they're making changes in their consumer behavior. Make sure that you're essential to them.
Yeah. It needs to pass what we call the accountant test, right? When the accountant looks at your bank account and they go, well, what's that then? And then you go, shut up, don't touch that.
Yeah.
That's my everything. That's my wellness. That's my friends. That's my community. You can turn the fucking lights off, but I'm staying at that place. That is more to me than just a gym. That's such a fucking tagline that everyone uses, but are you?
Yeah. Yeah. So the money one, try and avoid, obviously, with that sentiment. But if and when it does happen.
But we also problem solve that, right? Like we look at, okay, talk to me about your Uber Eats. Let's have a look at your Uber
No,
Eats
exactly.
account.
Like, yeah, if and when it does happen, it's like, hey, like, I'm not a financial advisor, but I've worked with people before who have come to me with this issue. And because I know how important your training and your goal is to you, let's see if there's somewhere we can actually save some of that money so that it makes a bit more sense for you. Because you and I both know, like, you're not going to go do the burpees next to your bed that you told me you would, or in the park in the winter. So it's important that we keep your training consistent. Otherwise, there's a lot that could actually fall apart here. Most people, they look at what they're spending on Uber Eats or the margaritas on the weekend. And they also, like, if we can get you sticking to a meal plan, I've got hard stats that prove, this is actually a member in our studio, Terry. He lost a fuck ton of weight and he did all the maths. He was like a spreadsheet guy and he was saving hundreds of dollars a week, even with our gym membership subscription, because he was not wasting money on food from his meal plans. You're welcome.
Yeah, well done.
So use those stories, lean on those stories, because...
We used to take people shopping, remember?
Yeah.
Do you remember when we used to take them across the road into the Coles and right out, you guys, we would do like a meal plan trip, right? And a meal shopping trip. We'd go up and down the aisles and go, right, avoid the middle bit.
Yeah.
Go around the edges, the perimeter, and we would like read labels and we were like, there's a cheaper option. There's frozen veggies or frozen fruits and all that kind of like we would actually insert ourselves in those conversations that were happening in their head. And that would provide so much value for these guys. They're like, oh my God, the amount of time I would go down, like I'd pick out these ones, but actually I can go like over here, or I would plan out Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. By the time I get to Thursday, fuck it. And then it's $80 on Uber Eats for 2 people. And then eat the whole thing.
And like going to the veggie chips, but that's actually not what you need. And it's like expensive versus just getting the frozen veggies or something like that.
Yeah. So like think about...
Our content was centered around it.
Yep.
We went in with mics. We got in trouble with mics
they kicked us
in
out.
Coles. Yeah.
Excuse me, so you can't film here. So I would encourage you guys to, well, firstly, adopt that mentality of it's just as important how people leave as, how they start, because that's why you get the win back. So in that 30-day period, we would say to people like, either you, like, let's just go hard and finish strong, right?
Yeah.
And some of them end up staying.
Yeah.
Or if they like, but I do need to bounce because the removal list is actually out the front. We go, oh, well, you got 30 days left on this thing. Like, you may as well give it to someone else. Give it to the person that's moving in. We would talk to all the real estate agents in the areas and actually get our flyers and things like that in the new rental pack. So we kind of wanted to be like the toll booth in the area. That's a cheeky little organic trick for you.
Yeah.
But my point there was they could give it to the next person. I don't care if you give it to your fucking neighbour. Like, there's 30 days in this thing. Someone better use it.
Yeah.
Someone better use it. So we would get referrals from that. And then the other point is it's like, then we would keep open an offer. The boomerang, we used to call it. The boomerang. And that is, if they returned in the next 3 months, we would credit them that 30-day notice period onto their returning membership, and they could join on their old rate. That's why you've got to look at your data. We used to find that even if they said, no, but I love you guys and I'm going to move, really sometimes they just want to try something else. Or maybe they did move and they had a fight with their bloody flatmate or something like that. But in most cases, if they went and tried somewhere else because they thought they'd want to do yoga. Remember Finny? Love you, Finny. She had been with us for 750 sessions and wanted to try something else because the body was feeling a bit broken. So she goes, I'm going to go and try yoga. And we didn't get weird about it, right? We just fucking clapped her off. I think we might have even had a breakfast for Finny. She went and tried yoga. She called me about a month later. She goes, Dozer, I was fucking bullshit. So she came back, but she had that credit that she could use. So yeah, it is such a smart business idea to think about how we treat people on the way out, because you'll get referrals, you'll get the cancellation of the cancellation, and also you'll get some boomerangs.
Yeah, or the alternative is like, oh, how was that place that you were training at? It's like, oh, they were good, but they got a bit weird on the way out.
Got a bit shit on the way out.
Don't be that guy.
So, obviously, prevention is better than cure.
Yep.
Obviously, there's a whole bit about how to make sure you don't get the cancels in the first place, which is not the point of this episode.
The analogy that you used to say there is, it's like saving a cancel is like trying to get the okay, I'm going to butcher this, but
fuck.
like it's trying to score a point when the buzzer's about to go off. It might count, but it was probably better to just be ahead in the first place in that game.
Nice.
So once someone's cancellation email comes through, that decision didn't happen overnight. It was happening
4
for
weeks ago.
weeks.
Yeah. Mentally, they'd already saved that money.
Correct. So run this play, but also prevention is where it's at, being proactive.
So don't get the cancel in the first place, but if you do, run this play, guys, and thank us later. So the recap is, firstly, change your attitude to cancels.
Yep.
Second thing is, run the 30-day play in your notice period. You've got 3 possible options from that. You could save a cancel. You can get a boomerang or you can get a referral, right? So look at for opportunities. And thirdly, like genuinely care about them along their way. So then when they do leave, instead of just fucking, put up a tunnel and celebrate them, okay? Celebrate them because they're going to remember that. And then the next time they're sitting at a brunch with someone, they go, hey, you're looking great. What's been happening? Yeah, listen, I actually moved out of the area, but fuck me, you should go to that studio down there because I was with them and they just gave me a tunnel the other day and happy days. Like that is what they want, okay? Because people will always remember how you made them feel.
Yeah.
So with that, love you guys. See you in the next episode. Find me on Instagram, hey.dozer. Got any questions, hit me up over there because I'm shit at emails. Love you.
Bye.